I called the FBI about a month ago,
Okay.
and I said, look, I may be really naive here, and I don't know, but I keep asking you guys, is this guy a kook? Is he a fraudster? And you tell me you don't know, but you also say you're really trying to track him down. And, it's like you're not dismissing it. And I just got this feeling it might be true. So what if we do a documentary and we actually pay the Bitcoin into the account to trigger this and follow where it leads us? And obviously we'll work with you. So this was about a month ago. And the first reaction I got was, well, that's kind of interesting. Let us run it up the flagpole. And I called them back a couple of days later, and they said, we're still talking about it. And then I kind of got ghosted for almost a month. And I called back a half dozen times, and they never returned my call. And I just figured, okay.
When you say they didn't return the call, the FBI. So have you responded? Is this an interactive relationship, or are you not able to respond to what he said?
I can't respond, but we respond in a different sort of way, and I'll tell you in a minute. But let me just say, a couple of days ago, the FBI did call me, and they said, well, look, they knew about what I had requested, and they said, look, we feel we're closer to finding this person. And they said this person might actually be a woman. And that's all they said. They didn't say why they thought that. But
that's interesting they said that, because if I was going to ask you if there was any indicia that this was a female.
He's uses a man's name.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything.
No, I know.
Right.
But then they said on the documentary thing to stand down, that they were working on it. And I said, fine. And so because there were these stories that had come out this week that, the second ransom note said that Nancy had died, it seems like that's what triggered this guy into sending this. So that
we understand, this person did not tell you that Nancy is dead?
Well, he is essentially, he told us that. I'm going to call him he just because that's what we've he told us this early on. At one point, he said, essentially, time is of the essence. And then in a follow-up email said, time is no longer of the essence.
And how early or how long after?
A week.
Disappearance?
A week.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, he has essentially told us over time that she was dead. And again, we've been sending all of these to the FBI. And they have spent a lot of time with my IT team, a lot of time, and multiple FBI agents who have been trying to crack the code of both this guy's email and the first kidnapping note. They've spent a lot of time with our team. As far as I know, they were not able to crack it. I know that until a month ago, they certainly were not able to crack it. I don't know what they've done with this guy.
Is this guy the one that, remember when Savannah did that really tugs at your heartstrings, emotion-laden,
right,
please bring us back, and there was two interpretations. One was she wanted the remains, the other, are people who wanted to be positive or think positively were interpreting it differently. Is this guy the one that you believe was saying that she's already gone?
No, the reason that Savannah, that's a really important point. There was the first ransom note said she was safe but scared. We received that, as did two Tucson television stations. The second note was only sent to one of the Tucson television stations. And what came out this week is in that second note, which was sent 5 or 6 days after the kidnapping, it said she was dead. And they were basically saying, we didn't do it, she died. And it was that second ransom note from the kidnappers. We know both notes were written by the same people because it was the same, it had the same Bitcoin address for the ransom. So it was that second note that said she was dead. And yes, that weekend, I believe it was Saturday night, is when Savannah came out with that really heart-wrenching statement where she said, bring us back, bring us to our mother so we can bring her home and celebrate. That felt to me back then like they knew she had died. When you say,
And I
bring her back
assume
so we can celebrate.
the Bitcoin address given by notes 1 and number 2 only going to one station, is a different Bitcoin address than the Bitcoin address in this note that we're talking about today.
Yeah, and the reason we know that this note today is the same as is written by the same person is that the last one we received before this one, the last one we received said, well, I'm not going to get in touch with you anymore. I'm going to deactivate the Bitcoin account. And we never published the Bitcoin address. So in this note, he says, I have a new Bitcoin address that you can send this money to. And then he references the old one just to show it's the same guy. And we never published that Bitcoin address, and it is the exact same one.
Have you published any of these notes?
We haven't published the notes in full. We've quoted from them.
Have you even shown anything indicia of it?
No, we've never shown any of the notes, but
Well, shouldn't we show a little bit of this?
Well, I mean, I've read a lot of this to you, and you know, when he says, look, if you send me the Bitcoin, that I will let you know where this phone is, and it's in a safe location that's easily accessible if you are guided to it. To me, that feels like a safe deposit box. And he says that the phone is turned off, but I will lead you to that safe deposit box and give you the password so you can access the phone. So that's what he says. Now,
so if this guy is not, or woman is not, a fraudster, I think I said this to you once before, and I would hopefully they're listening or hear it. Why don't they just go to a lawyer and have the lawyer work on a contingency to broker the information, which then keeps the anonymity of the client and allows the information to get wherever. You don't even have to rely on a Bitcoin. A lawyer can keep the money in a trust account pending the confirmation of the information or the phone or whatever else it is. I don't know why they make it so cloak and dagger when there seems to be a rather simple way to navigate this.
That's actually a really interesting idea. And he certainly hasn't raised it. And one of the reasons he might not want to do that is if he's a fraudster.
Right. And so that's what tends to lead me to believe that the person is a fraudster, because otherwise, go to a lawyer who's got attorney-client privilege with you, who has a trust account that you can receive whatever funds and not have to disclose, meaning not have to disclose to the general public, so to speak, and then let the lawyer broker this deal so that you can then take that information and if you have some interest in getting this solved, that's the way to solve it.
Okay, I will double down with you on that and say there is more evidence he's a fraudster, and then after I tell you what that evidence is, then I'll tell you why he might not be a fraudster. So,
oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to get my fraudster whiplash.
You are going to get fraudster whiplash.
Let's first go towards doubling down on fraud.
Okay, let's do that. So you had asked me earlier, is this one-way communication or are we able to communicate with him? We cannot send him emails or anything like that. That is a one-way street. That we don't have any ability to do that, never have. However, we have a website and we have television shows and we have social media. And on all of those, we have said things really directly to him. And I said something to him early today after getting this email. And I said, look, you could be an absolute scammer and there's a reason the FBI and the Guthrie family hasn't paid you. So it's got to give them pause that whether you're the real deal or not. So what about this? send us, and this is the way we've communicated with him. I put this on social media and on the website today. And I said, send us a screen grab from the video of Nancy Guthrie, something, just a screen grab that shows you the real deal. And we will immediately forward it to the FBI. And I would assume if they think it's real, they're going to pay the money. So a couple hours after we posted that, he sent another email saying, I'm not going to do that because the metadata will lead them directly to me, and I'm not going to take that chance. So that made me think, this guy's full of it.
Right, because, and once again, you could show it to a lawyer confidentially. The lawyer can take a look. The lawyer does not have to access the metadata, but the lawyer can then do a reverse proffer to the FBI or the authorities. The lawyer could also, if you're worried about being apprehended or if you're worried about your liability, so to speak, then they can do, if it turns out to be true and you're not a fraudster, they can work out some kind of an arrangement for you.
That's right. Okay, so that's
now,
my doubling down. I know.
What leads you to the other? Where's the whiplash on the other angle?
So I send these 2 emails today to the FBI, and they are saying, we're on it. We're on it.
Wow.
You know, it's like, stop sending us these stupid emails. And I'm not getting that. And so I'm just really confused. Why are they spending time on this guy if they don't believe that he might be legit? But on the other hand, if they think he even might be legit, why not roll the dice on 60 grand, which in the greater scheme of things, you know, it's not going to break the bank. But if they're spending this much time trying to figure out who he is, then roll the dice on this thing. Because the guy, there was a point, Mark, where, I don't know, a month in, I did a social media post, again, the only way we could contact this guy. And I just said, look, the FBI literally asked me to do this social post and say to you that if this is a scam, they will find you, they will charge you, they will prosecute you, and they will send you to prison. And they had actually asked me to say that, and I did. And he sent me an email back saying, I am well aware that anybody who pulls a scam like this can be prosecuted and sent to prison. I am not doing that. So look, I don't know, but I mean, if 0 to 100, 100 is he's telling the truth and 0 is no credibility. Where are you on the spectrum?
Right now, until you give me some other piece of information that I didn't have 8 minutes ago, I'm giving it about a 65%, a 65 out of 100.
Is that worth rolling? Is that worth rolling the dice?
Yeah, I think that is worth rolling the dice.